Mandy, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
And how can we tell that it's recording?
It's up in the top left-hand corner.
Great, thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Mandy Craven, and I'm the head of school for IB Bartow. And I am so excited that you have been able to join us today. We are going to wait for just a few minutes and give everyone time to get admitted into the room. This is definitely a different experience for sure. I think it's the first time we've ever had a prospective student and parent meeting virtually. So if you'll just bear with us this evening, and again, we'll get started in just a moment. As you're waiting to get started, if you could please look at your settings and make sure that you have muted your microphones. We are going to be asking that all the participants mute their microphones. We do have different staff members and students that are going to be sharing and speaking tonight. And so we've got it set to where they can unmute themselves when it's time, but we do need everyone else to please keep your microphones muted. Okay, and again, just a few more minutes and then we will get started. All right. Well, we will go ahead and get started. I appreciate you joining us this evening. Again, my name is Mandy Craven and I'm the head of school for International Baccalaureate at Bartow High School. Again, just a reminder, please make sure that you have your microphones muted during our presentation. And if you will bear with me for just a minute, I'm going to share my screen and we will get started. There we go. Okay. All right, so I do want to start off this evening with introducing different staff members and some of our students that are going to be presenting with me this evening. Katie Marsh is our IB counselor and she will be presenting with me tonight. I also have Shelly DeVore and Glenn Nakamura, two of our IB teachers, joining me this evening. And the superstars of the night are some of our students that are going to be sharing some information and just their experience with you in a few minutes. And we've got 4 different students that are going to be sharing some information with you. We're excited to provide you all the opportunity to get to hear from them firsthand this evening. So what is IB at Bartow High School? You probably have heard several things about our program. Some might be myths that we will dispel tonight. Some might be some really neat facts that you may not know about us. So we're excited to be able to just share with you some of the great things that IB Bartow has to offer students. If you look here on at the diagram on the screen, you can see that the IB student is at the center of that diagram. And coming out from that student is what we refer to as our core content, theory of knowledge, which is a class that we'll talk a little bit more about that all of our students are required to take as part of their IB experience, the extended essay, and then CAS, which is creativity, activity, and service. And then again, a very unique part of our program is the 6 different subject areas that students will take classes in, providing them with a very balanced approach to their education. IB, the IB organization, provides students with the most widely recognized college preparatory program in the world. And that's one thing that we really pride ourselves on. Everybody's high school experience and what they're looking to get out of their high school experience is different. But if you are looking for an experience that is going to best prepare you to be successful at a university, college setting, and beyond, then this is a program that you want to definitely seriously consider because of how balanced you will be heading into a university setting. IB is very different than other accelerated programs that you may have heard about or know about. One of the unique things about the International Baccalaureate curriculum is that it's not a buffet. It's not just pick and choose the classes that you think that you're best at. It truly is, and this, an analogy to look at, it's a 7-course meal. You're gonna have a fine dining experience with IB because of those 6 different subject areas that you will be challenged and pushed and grow and have the opportunity to grow in, and then the different experiences and very unique experience through TOK, the extended essay, and creativity, action, and service. Some of the different components, again, just to expand on what I've already shared. TOK, the Theory of Knowledge course, is a unique course to IB where students are able to learn to think critically about knowledge and how they gain knowledge. And that's, again, something that's very unique to the International Baccalaureate curriculum. We also have mentioned CAS, which is Creativity, Action, and Service. And this is, again, another very unique experience for our students because it provides opportunities for our students to grow in other areas other than academics. And it's part of the curriculum in our program to help ensure that students are well-rounded and very balanced as they're working through high school, and then again carrying that over into a university setting and even into just life in general, as far as just their career choices and just again focused on that really balanced approach at learning. Our program also provides students with some very unique research opportunities. As part of the curriculum with International Baccalaureate, here in our program, we have what's called the extended essay. And students work on writing an extensive research paper so that they have that experience and that learning opportunity and the guidance from their extended essay supervisors to help them through how to write a research paper so that they've experienced that prior to going into a university setting. We also have a really great opportunity for students to be able to experiment and research while incorporating in collaboration through their Group 4 science project, which again is a unique opportunity and learning experience for students in the IB diploma program curriculum, where they come together as far as the biology, chemistry, physics, and all work on a science project, again, where they have to collaborate and problem solve and brainstorm and think critically. And that's something that's very different than other accelerated science programs or science courses, where, again, going into a university setting or even going into a career field, you've got to be able to work with others and collaborate and share ideas and problem solve together. So again, the Group 4 project is a very unique opportunity that our students are provided that they may not receive in other settings or other accelerated courses. And lastly, on this slide, I do just want to point out that there is definitely an emphasis on language acquisition through writing and oral communication in both English and a world language. And again, that's something that's very different from other programs. Our students are going to take 4 or 5 years of a world language where they really have the opportunity to acquire that language and be able to read, write, and speak fluently. And that's very different than just taking 2 years of a foreign language to meet a minimum college admissions requirement and then you move on to something else. So again, that's, just in both the English and the world language, our students are really pushed and challenged to be able to write and orally communicate in those languages. And now I'm going to turn it over to Ms. DeVore, one of our IB teachers, and she's going to share some information with you regarding the IB learner profile and a new course that we actually have added to our program called Pre-IB Inquiry Skills that helps students to just develop and have the tools that they need to be successful in our program.
Good evening. It's wonderful to be able to have the opportunity to speak to you tonight. And in regard to the IB Learner Profile, it is incorporated throughout our program to help students think beyond themselves, to understand their unique responsibility and joining with others to provide solutions for a better and a more peaceful world. We use these 10 attributes for several different activities and refer to them often throughout our inquiry skills course. Students considering this program already possess many of these characteristics and will thrive in an environment where they can develop them further and specialize and learn even more of these traits with other like-minded individuals. That's one of the benefits of this program, is that students really enjoy their opportunity to be with other people who are serious about their education. And that's one of the things that the students really enjoy about our program. As far as this year, for the first time, we are offering our pre-IB inquiry skills course. Our upperclassmen have always said that the hardest part of being a freshman in our program is adapting when they first come in. So in an effort to help them even further adapt, we've implemented the pre-IB inquiry skills course. And the reason for the course is to help provide strategies and support to help them find success in IB. Later on, they can take these skills with them into college and then beyond into their careers. And we find that learning at this level is really a process, and it takes some time and some effort. It's been very exciting for me this year working with these pre-IB inquiry skill students to watch them practicing, implementing these skills, making progress toward their goals and finding success. There is so much potential to use each of these traits you see on this, these strategies you see on the screen to help. We're helping students to be the best students that they can possibly be. And I hope we will have the opportunity to welcome each of you into our circle where you can learn, grow, and help one another, because that's kind of what happens. We are a close-knit family. So we look forward to that opportunity. And we're going to turn it over now to Miss Catherine Marsh, who is our guidance counselor, and she is just tremendous. So we'll turn it over to her now.
All right, well, I'm glad to be here. Glad to share with you what I have learned about IB. This is my second year here at IB, and I really have found it to be an astounding community of student learners, and the faculty continues to amaze me every single day. And so one thing that I want to say, speaking not only as a school counselor, but as a mom, I really think that you would be hard pressed to find a faculty that was more invested in their students' learning than what we have here. So we're going to go to the next slide here, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the course progression here at IB. Now, much of our progression is prescribed. It's decided for the students. We talk about balanced curriculum and we talk about rigor. And here at IB, we have the rigor absolutely covered. But within this prescribed curriculum, we do have some opportunities for choice. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. But let's just look at the 9th grade here. When we look at the 9th grade column there on the left for the 9th grade pre-IB program, because in 9th grade and 10th grade, you're not really in the diploma program yet. You're in the pre-diploma program or the pre-IB program. All right, so 9th and 10th grade is pre-IB, and 11th and 12th grade is the official diploma program. So the first year in the pre-IB program would look like this. You're going to take all of those courses that you have to take with IB, the pre-IB English 1, the pre-IB foreign language, which we'll talk about in more detail in a moment, that pre-IB inquiry skills that Ms. DeVore was just speaking about, pre-IB biology, and then you're going to take one of the math courses, either geometry honors or algebra 2 honors, or perhaps a liberal arts math course. That depends on what course you had in middle school right before coming to IB. And then there's time for some electives, okay? When I talked about pre-IB English, foreign language, inquiry, and biology, those are honors level courses. So those courses are weighted at the 0.5 level, all right? And then for our electives, we have all sorts of things to choose from. We have AP courses, certainly, but we also have Career Academies and all of the electives that are offered here at Bartow High School that our students can choose from. So they get a little bit of that choice in there. We have things that range from music and theater all the way to construction and electricity and everything in between. So you'll note that in that 9th grade year, for most students, there are going to be 2 spots for choice. And what we know is that in addition to their academics, they have to have something that feeds their soul in another way, too. Another really important reason to come to school each and every day. So we want to make sure that they have those choices. Ms. Craven is going to talk a lot more about our Career Academies and those choices because she has been here a lot longer than I have, and she's really well-versed in all of the Career Academy lingo. 10th grade follows much the same path. Oh, okay, 10th grade follows much the same path. And then when you get into 11th and 12th grade, the kids begin their DP program. Now notice I'm talking about a 4-year continuum here, and that is something that we really want those of you who are thinking about coming to IB to consider. The best way to get the benefit of IB is to be with us all 4 years. And that is what we are looking for, and that is what we want you to be looking for, a place where you can become a part of the IB family. And to be a part of that IB family, we want you to reap all of the benefits of all 4 years. So when you get to 11th grade, you start those IB courses. And IB courses are weighted at the 1.0 level. So they're weighted even more heavily than the pre-IB or honors courses. And I'm not going to go through every single course that you would have to take because it's right here for you. But I do want to call special attention to the foreign language or the world language acquisition component of the IB curriculum. We offer 2 world languages here for your IB language. Those are Spanish and German. Now, those of you in 8th grade who have had experience in Spanish, high school level Spanish in middle school, and if you would like to continue Spanish, that might be a good choice for you. For those of you who have not had any high school level Spanish in middle school, I'm going to tell you that German is going to be the most appropriate choice for you. And let me explain why. With Spanish, most, if not all, of our students have taken a year or maybe 2 of high school level Spanish in middle school. Therefore, our pre-IB Spanish courses start with pre-IB Spanish 2. If you haven't had any middle school experience with high school level Spanish, I think you would find it to be very taxing indeed, and probably not the right fit for you. Whereas German, our pre-IB German classes, we start with the level 1 right at the very beginning, and all of the students are on that same page, and then they progress through to be able to take the exam at the end of the 4 years. So you heard me mention an exam just now. There are IB exams, external exams, at the end of the 4-year program. In Spanish, we're starting a little bit further along than we would be starting in German. So to start Spanish when you haven't had high school level Spanish in middle school, it would put you behind. And we want everyone to start off in a way that is going to ensure their success at the end. And so that is why we recommend German for the students who have not had that high school experience with high school Spanish in middle school. All right, let's go on to the next. Okay, here we go. I need to move my screen around just a little bit so I can see things a little bit better. Uh-oh, I lost you. There you go. All right, so our IB program, our curriculum really focuses on the learner's evolution, all right, throughout the entire DP program. We give every student a chance to show what they know, not only through those external exams that I mentioned a few minutes ago, but also from something called internal assessments. And internal assessments are sprinkled throughout the 11th and 12th grade year. So that diploma and your assessments are not only determined by one day, one test that you take. You have various opportunities to show what you have learned. There's a lot that we ask you to do here at IB. And if I'm being very honest with you, I need to tell you that it's a lot of work, but there are so many benefits. So you work hard and you reap all of those benefits. And I think that our students will share with you tonight how they feel like those struggles or that hard work has really paid off for them. So like we talked about, 4 years of the same foreign language, the core components, the creativity, activity, and service component that is part of the 11th and 12th grade year, which is so much more than community service. It's also serving yourself and helping yourself grow in different areas, cultivating that sense of creativity, cultivating that physical activity in your life so that you truly can be that balanced learner that we are looking for. Also the extended essay and the theory of knowledge class. You know, that theory of knowledge class is something that is so unique to our program. And while it might be a little uncomfortable for students when they first get into it, I think at the end they really find themselves loving it and looking back as one of the hallmark experiences of TOK. When people ask me what is theory of knowledge, the best way that I can describe it is it's kind of like a humanities class, but not really. It's kind of like a philosophy class, but not really. It's a way of learning, and it's a way of thinking about how you think. How do you know what you know? What assumptions is your knowledge based on? And can those assumptions be challenged in a way to strengthen your beliefs and your viewpoints? Or after challenging those assumptions, are you going to change your mind about something? And are you going to be open to other people's opinions? That's really what that class incorporates, and kind of nebulous and hard to describe, but I'll be anxious to hear from our students later tonight if they think I got it right. So I'm looking at some of you right now on the screen. Give me a thumbs up if I got it kind of right. All right. All right, kind of, all right. All right, but because we ask you to do so many things, there are a few perks to being an IB student. There are a few general high school standard diploma requirements that are waived. So if you come to IB and you are a completer and finish all 4 years of our program, doing all of these extra things that we've asked you to do, you're not going to have to take a physical education credit. You're not going to have to do an online course requirement. Right now, we don't have our students do government and economics either. And that is something that is required for a Florida standard diploma. But we find a way through the rest of our curriculum to get that information in there, and we don't ask you to do everything twice. Now, you have to be a full completer to have those requirements waived. But those are a list of 3 things that we don't make you do that other students in the state of Florida do have to do to get their diploma. All right. Ms. Craven, I think you're going to talk a little bit about the IB Career Academies now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
So before we get to the Career Academies, this is just a slide that shares some of the elective courses that are available at Bartow High School, IB, and Summerlin Academy. Again, just a little bit of information about our school. IB is a school within a school. We actually have 3 schools in one here at Bartow High School, IB Bartow, and Summerlin Academy. So this is just a few of the different electives that are available to our students. Again, as Ms. Marsh shared during the slide with the 4-year course progression, our 9th grade students will have the opportunity to choose 2 different elective courses. We have, again, academic electives, but also just additional foreign languages, arts, and again, several of the academy courses are listed here. I know I keep saying unique, and one of the unique things about our program that I think that it makes us so special is our students have the opportunity to pursue that academically rigorous curriculum through the IB curriculum, while also having the opportunity to participate in career academies here at Bartow High School. At Bartow High School, there are 8 different career academies. 5 of those career academies are actually nationally accredited academies through the NACAC organization, which is the National Coalition of or National Career Academies Coalition. So, you know, that we're very proud of those career academies that our students, the IB students, are able to participate in. You know, we've talked about creativity, activity, and service, and that CAS component, and being able to take advantage of the IB curriculum and participate in those career academies is a great way for our students to be able to have, again, just that well-rounded, balanced approach. And a lot of their CAS experiences and CAS projects can be incorporated in through their participation in the various career academies that we have here at Bartow High School. So again, we have our Public Service Academy, and all of the programs within the Public Service Academy are nationally accredited. The Criminal Justice Academy just recently went through the accreditation process this school year, and we found out last week that they actually are now nationally accredited. Our Future Educators Academy, which focuses on preparing students for those that want to go into the education field, is also nationally accredited. And then we have our Medical and Fire Academy, and our Medical and Fire Academy is actually a model academy with the NACAC organization as far as their accreditation, and they were in model status for a model academy. Then you can see we have the Academy of Hospitality and Marketing, and that encompasses our Culinary Arts Academy. The Culinary Arts Academy is also a model status nationally accredited academy. They also just went through the re-accreditation, because they have to go through that process. I believe it's every 5 years. And so they just went through that process and were recertified again as a model academy. And then we have our Digital Design Academy, which focuses on graphic design, creative photography, and then also we have our Digital Media program, which is our YJP Yellow Jacket production, news show, and film. We also have Industrial and Consumer Science Academy, which includes our ACE Academy, and ACE stands for Architectural Drafting, Construction, and Electrical. So there are 3 different pathways within the ACE Academy, and the ACE Academy also just went through the accreditation process this school year, and we found out last week that they also were awarded that accreditation, that national accreditation. So we are very proud of them as well. And we also have our iGrow Ag Academy as part of that Industrial and Consumer Science Academy umbrella. And then finally, we do have our BHS Studio B Fine Arts Academy, and while that is not a career academy, it is an academy that focuses on fine performing and visual arts, which our IB music and IB art programs are part of that Fine Arts Academy. So you can see here that students at IB Bartow have a lot of different options. And as Ms. Marsh talked about, the four-year progression and honors weighted classes versus non-honors weighted, one thing that I would really like to challenge all of our students, our prospective students as well as current students, is think about, again, what do you want to get out of your high school experience? And this is a great way to have that pre-university track, that college preparatory track, but also, again, really take advantage of the benefits of some of these programs that we have that could really enhance your college applications, your college essays, because you will have, through participating in these opportunities, in these academies, the opportunity again for your CAS experiences. And, you know, a student gets involved in, for example, the medical academy, and they start that academy in 9th grade and stay with that all the way through 12th grade. You know, we have a lot of our students that are involved in the HOSA organization, which is part of that medical academy. And again, because they're in that program and they've committed to the time to focus on the quality of what they're doing with one or two programs such as the medical academy, they're able to really establish leadership skills that help them to stand out among other applicants for college admissions and things like that. So again, it's you know, just one more way that our students have an opportunity to be very balanced and well-rounded. Now, Ms. Marsh, we have talked a lot about academic rigor, academics, so I can just imagine that our students that are listening tonight are probably thinking to themselves, yeah, right, is there really life outside of IB?
I'm certain that they are thinking that. And the good news is this. Yep, there is life outside of IB. As a matter of fact, IB is the only accelerated option that actually requires you to have a life outside of IB. And that requirement is manifested in this CAS requirement, which is the creativity, activity, and service that we've been talking about. So you want to be a football player, okay? That is your activity. That can be one of your CAS experiences. You want to be in a play. You love theater. Great. That can count as part of your creativity for your CAS experiences. You love animals, you want to work at the SPCA, you want to devote your time there, great. You get to love on the animals, make a difference in their lives and in our community's life, and you're performing your service portion of CAS. So yes, there is life outside of IB. You absolutely have to be organized, you have to have time management skills, and you've got to learn how to balance all of those requirements. But you can absolutely do it. Now we're going to be talking about, well, before we do that, just look on this screen. These are additional opportunities for life outside of IB here with the Bartow High School campus at large. And then there's also time for some activities, if you balance your time well, outside of school altogether. So as we go to the next screen, you're going to see some faces of our current students. We have 4 current students with us tonight. We have Samantha and David and Gus and Ifama. And I've asked them to think about a specific question to answer for tonight to let you hear from, you know, enough from the old ladies, right? You need to hear from the kids who are in this process doing IB every day. And if I have other questions, guys, as you talk, then I'm going to facilitate that, and so be on your toes. I may ask you something else as well. So we're going to start with Samantha. Samantha, can you unmute yourself?
Hi.
Hi, there she is. Hi, Samantha. Samantha is currently a 10th grader here at IB, so she survived and thrived in her 9th grade year, and she's smiling right now to show it. Samantha, can you talk to us about some of the most important skills that you as an 8th grader, that someone as an 8th grader would need to make that successful transition or that adapting to life in IB? Because it is very different from middle school, right? Can you tell us what an 8th grader needs to have already accomplished to be able to be successful here?
Okay, so I really thought about this and I came up with 2 really important attributes I think an 8th grader should have coming into this program. And the first one was a good work ethic, because that first 9 weeks of your freshman year, for me so far, it has been the hardest part of this program because it's such a huge transition from middle school and it's a lot more work than you're used to. And if you wait until 8 o'clock to start your homework every night, or you don't like doing homework, you have a disdain for doing homework, then you probably won't do super great. So you need to have a good work ethic and be willing to work hard to make good grades. And I also thought that it's important to have a sense of time management, because like I said, you can't wait until 8 o'clock to start your homework every night or you won't ever get a full night's sleep. So you need to kind of pace yourself.
So Samantha, in 9th grade, what kind of homework routine did you have? What was something that you could pretty much count on in terms of amount and load?
You can always count on having English and math homework for sure. Definitely. I always had math homework. I took Algebra 2 last year. It wasn't a ton of work, but one important thing I think is to try to do your work when it's assigned and to pace out larger projects. Like if you have 2 weeks for a project, start working on it when you know about it, because it will pile up quickly. So just try to do stuff when it's assigned and it'll help you get that full night's sleep you need so you're not up late doing homework.
Excellent approaches. I know that the time management is of utmost importance. I know that if you are used to having no homework in middle school, you would need to be prepared for homework every day. Some schools, some middle schools give more homework than others, but you at IB will have homework every day, and so that needs to be part of the expectation. Thank you very much, Samantha. I appreciate that. Next, we have David Clements. He is also a 10th grader. No, he is an 11th grader. David, are you there? Can you unmute?
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Sorry, I got that wrong. So, David, can you talk to us about the benefits of IB as you see it?
Okay, so as I see it in my own experience, I found that independence and maturity were the most were the greatest benefits from the program, because as you enter from 8th grade, it's a whole different world, and you're not really expecting it, but once you really experience it and you go through your first maybe bad grade or something like that, you're gonna learn to manage your time. You're gonna learn to cut out the distractions, and you're gonna pick up skills along the way that help you become an overall more independent learner and thinker and a more mature student. And these benefits, they set you up not only for college, but also for your life after college. So really they set you up for the rest of your life. So you learn these skills that you need to work hard and to succeed.
So David, I think that's interesting. You just said, you talked about independence in particular, but you're not saying that you necessarily got here with this level of independence, but that this program has helped you cultivate it and grow independently. Correct. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. And the other interesting thing that you said, and I think that this might be true for a lot of the students that are in 8th grade thinking about coming to IB now. Many times we get students who come to us who have never made a C, never made one. And then they get here and maybe in biology, they earn a C in a class or on a test. And that hits them rather hard. Did you have that experience, David?
Yes. So on my first AP test from AP Environmental Science, I wasn't really expecting anything too difficult. But when I went in there and I got a grade that I wasn't really expecting, I didn't like it very much. It was kind of like a reality check that made me realize that I'm going to need to get this work ethic and this time management thing down in order to succeed in this program. And once I got those things down and once I got a good routine going, it really helped me in all aspects of my life, and is a very beneficial thing.
Great. And so the answer to that poor grade was not see if you can get the teacher to regrade it and give you more points. The answer to that poor grade was to self-evaluate and say, okay, what did I do this time? What could I do differently next time to improve my learning in this, right?
Correct.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now we have Agastya Mittal. Gus, we call you. Gus, it's nice to see you. I had you right there on video. Gus, can you unmute for me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
There he is. Hi, Gus.
Hi.
So, skills that you have gained because of your IB experience. Gus is a senior with us, so he is in his last year of the DP program.
Yeah, so as Ms. Marr said, I'm in the last year. There's definitely, I think that you don't really realize how much IB matters or how much it's given you until you get to that senior year where you can look back on everything you've done. Because I think definitely started probably like beginning of freshman year and then up until last year, you're feeling like what I'm doing all this work and for what purpose? Like it doesn't really serve a purpose. But then I get to senior year and I look back and I see like not only am I, I've learned so much just like knowledge wise in terms of like, my classes have been challenging and they've pushed me and stuff like that. That's something that IB, everyone talks about IB being challenging for people, and that's something that everyone knows about. But also you look at like your class, like, I mean, sure, the class sizes are small, but you learn, you get to know these people that are in your class with you really well, and it's like you build up like an entire like school within a school in a way that these kids are like they have all of the same classes as you, and that's going to be like and they're people that are going to go forward with you for the rest of your life. That's just like another benefit of IB that not many people talk about. And just like in general, the community, being able to be in a community full of people who also like strive to be like as academically minded as you, or strive to be like just do things the same way you would, have the same attitude towards life. It's a really refreshing change, honestly, from middle school or from other schools. That's just one of the biggest things I've gotten out of IB, is just the community of people and just how good it's been in terms of like finding new friends and stuff like that.
Right, yeah. I really heard you talk about that community of learners, but that it almost becomes a little family in some ways. When I go into your theory of knowledge classes, that's what it seems like to me. You guys are discussing deep things. You're respectful of each other. You've come a long way with each other, and you have a shared experience. And I think that is something that our school offers that many of the other accelerated options might not be able to compare to, really. Thank you so much, Gus. I appreciate that. Ifama is also a 12th grader. She is a senior, and the senior year first semester is quite busy. And to add to that, Ifama is a band student. So Ifama, you're unmuted, right?
Yes.
There she is. Tell us about the strategies that you have used to balance all that you do, which is a lot.
Yep. Okay. So, like some things there, I do marching band, I do band, I work, I'm in some clubs, and then on top of that, I have my schoolwork. And senior year is very much, in the beginning of senior year, it's very much you're turning stuff in all the time, so it's really busy. So some strategies that I was thinking about, well, first of all, when you get into 9th grade, I do not suggest, just because you might say that you have more time than a senior would, I would not suggest jumping into every single club or every single sport that you see. I would before you even join a club or before you join a sport, which I do suggest you do, I would see which one would fit for you. So if you know that you want to do a sport, maybe you've never done swim and you want to do that, I would suggest going to, the conditionings, maybe some of the practices, but I wouldn't suggest, doing 3 sports at one time just because you want to try them all out. Because another strategy to help balance is to plan. That's how I can do all of these things. Because when I tell people I do all of that, they're like, how do you do that? How do you do that? Well, I didn't start off like that. When I was in 9th grade, I started off with band. And on top of the transition from middle school to high school IB and band, it was really rough. I did maybe like one club, but I had to slow down. I couldn't take on all the things I'm doing now until I got adjusted and accustomed to my schedule. So that's a really big thing, not to jump into everything that you see just because, and to make sure that you plan for everything so you have enough time to do your homework, because when worst comes to worst, your homework is the biggest thing that you need to take care of. You're not going to go to 15 clubs and have F's in all your classes. You want to make sure that you can still maintain the grade that you want, have the GPA that you want, because your GPA, just because you're 9th grade, your GPA does affect you for your entire high school experience. And it doesn't just start when you start applying to colleges. It begins from when you enter high school.
Great points. Ifama, I love even how organized you were in your answer. And that shows me that strategy of planning and prioritizing, not just planning, but prioritizing. I heard you say your academics, you need to get your grades taken care of so that you can do these other things. And that is the important order. You have to not only be able to manage your time, but you have to learn how to prioritize. What are the have tos? What are the need tos? What are the want tos? And to be able to put them in perspective that way, right? So Ifama, real quick though, I want to know about TOK. Did I get it right at all? Because you had your hand kind of like this. So how would you describe theory of knowledge, or TOK,
I
that
think
essential course?
You are correct when it teaches you how to think, because you're gonna realize when you go in there, I'm guessing everyone in here speaks English, but you're gonna realize when you go in there, you don't know how to describe any of your thoughts. And that's okay. You're gonna be like, oh wow, I don't think I can do that. Well, the teacher that we have, you're gonna have him, Mr. Geist, in 10th and 11th grade. So, and he's really nice, he's really fun. So he's gonna help you along the way. But some thoughts, you're just not gonna know how to describe it. And he's gonna be asking you questions and prompting answers, and you're not going to be able to articulate your thoughts. You're just gonna be like, and he's gonna say, no, I don't know. So but it's fun. It's a fun experience because everyone's close knit. So we don't really judge people's answers that much.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to all 4 of you. I really appreciate each and every one of you sharing your time with the kids tonight, and the parents, so that they have a good, accurate idea of what life at IB is like. It's not all roses every single day, but we've got some really great moments along with the learning opportunities, right? So thank you so much, everybody. All right, Ms. Craven, let's go on to the next one. As a school counselor, I get a lot of questions about getting into college. And, I really love this first quote that we have up here on the screen. College is a match to be made, not a prize to be won. And when I talk to kids about college, I hear a lot about, well, how do I get in here? How do I get in here? How do I get in there? And what I want to say is, it's not about getting in. It's about the staying in. It's about what you learn when you're there and what you do after you're there with the knowledge and the education that you receive. So finding your right fit, not only in high school, looking for the right fit for you for high school, but finding that right fit for college is just as important, because the getting in is just the beginning. So on the screen, you're going to see a few quotes from selective universities' admissions deans. I'll let you read those. I'm not going to read them to you, but there are a couple thoughts that I wanted to share. College acceptance is a lot more than just your GPA. I call that the GPA race, trying to pad your transcript with courses that you might not really want to take, but they're super heavily weighted because you want that GPA to be extra, extra high. Well, what I want you to know is that colleges, they're onto that. They are beginning to use a much more holistic approach at considering and evaluating admissions. So they're not only looking for that GPA. Yes, is it important? Yes, it is. It is important. But they're also looking for your community service. They're looking for your writing ability. They're looking for your authenticity in your application and those letters of recommendation from teachers and counselors who are able to speak to that whole 4-year educational experience that they have watched you grow through. So you're going to want to make sure that you make choices not only for your classes, but also for your activities that represent who you really are. So here, I don't really like to entertain the conversations about the GPA race. And I do know that a lot of parents and a lot of students are interested in that, but you will hear me if you are here again and again and again say, but what are you passionate about? What are you interested in? And how can you make a difference in those areas? They're looking for balance in addition to rigor. And here at IB, we've got both rigor and balance taken care of because we prescribe those rigorous courses that you have to take to meet all of our curriculum demands. But we also require that CAS, that creativity, activity, and service, which shows them the balance. So we talked about that balance, broad and balanced curriculum. And what I want you to know is, while it's not a la carte and it's that 7-course meal, right, that we talked about before, it's not that we are expecting you to be an expert in every single content area. I am certainly better in some areas than others, and I would imagine a lot of you 8th graders are too. But we are asking you to grow and to learn and to persevere through those content areas that don't come as naturally to you, as well as excelling in those ones that are really your bailiwick. So it is this part of our curriculum, it is this thing about IB, that broad and balanced rigor. This is why our alumni come back to us and that they tell us that they are equipped, they are ready for education at the university level, probably more so than most programs. All right. So can we go to the next slide? For those highly selective colleges, those Ivy Leagues and those super selective colleges, what I want you to know is all of those admissions directors are telling us that they prefer IB curriculum to dual enrollment. You may have heard a lot about dual enrollment as an option for high school students in Polk County. That would be earning college credit while you're in high school for courses that you might take through Polk State Community College or Southeastern perhaps. And while those are available to our students at some level, dual enrollment classes are reserved for those who are willing to take those above and beyond the IB full 7-period day here on our campus. And the reason we do that is because we know that those highly selective colleges and universities are really looking for the rigor that they are assured of when they see an IB class on that student's transcript. With dual enrollment, not so much. Not all of the highly selective universities will award credit for dual enrollment. But depending upon that internal and external assessment for the IB exams and the IB courses, you may earn college credit for those classes as well. But even if you didn't earn that college credit, the colleges are going to be using that in their consideration for your admissions, and they prefer that over dual enrollment. Also, just at the bottom note, you may start hearing about all sorts of summer programs that are available to high achieving students. You may get mailers in the mail. Some of these programs are very, very expensive, upwards of $3,000. And I'm not telling you they're bad, but what I'm telling you is they are not necessary to get into a good college. They are not a part of the admissions criteria. So if you're not able to do those things that come in the mail for those summer programs that are offered at universities all over the United States, don't fret. Your IB curriculum and your balanced creativity, activity, and service will be a gold mine for your college admissions. All right. All right, did you know? I love this screen because it talks about money. So I'm sure all the parents, if you're like me, your ears pricked up for that. If you earn the IB diploma, automatically you are given, you've earned or qualified for the highest level of Bright Futures, the Florida Academic Scholar. And the highest level of Bright Futures right now, that Florida Academic Scholar pays for 100% of tuition and fees at a state-funded university or state college. And right now there's even I think it's a $300 stipend for books. That's huge. So even if you didn't get the exact SAT or ACT score that you needed to qualify for Bright Futures, if you end up with the IB diploma, then you're going to get that Bright Futures scholarship anyway. So that is a big perk to the IB education. You also can earn college credit, like I alluded to before, for your IB courses. And look at that number, $4,609,400. That is the amount that our IB senior class of 2020, just this last year's graduating seniors, that is the amount of scholarships that that small class of 50 students was offered. It's kind of amazing when you look at that number. It's mind-boggling to me. And how did they get those offers? It's because of the curriculum. It's because of how they persevered and exceeded their own expectations for themselves within that curriculum. And it's because of our commitment here at IB Bartow, between Ms. Craven, Ms. Maida, our college program advisor, and me. We are very dedicated and committed to helping connect you to scholarships that you might qualify for and getting that word out, and then coming behind to nag a little bit too. All right, I think the next slide might be, is this me or is this you, Ms. Craven? I think it's me. All right, so again, I talked about this before. We're not expecting you to be experts in everything. We're expecting you to act with integrity at all times as an IB student. That includes with your peers, with your advisors and your faculty members, your teachers, and also with your academics. We're expecting students that show integrity at all times, who are willing to persevere and improve through all of the curriculum and become those broad learners that we so want. All right, so look at some of these accolades. Not only the money, not only the scholarship money, but this year, we just announced our 5 National Merit semifinalists. That's 5 out of 7, by the way. 5 out of 7 in the entire Polk County school system came from IB Bartow. We're very, very proud of those students. We also had 3 National Merit commended students, also, of course, super proud of them. Our IB diploma rate, those students earning the IB diploma last year, was 88%, very, very high percentage for the state of Florida, and actually for the world, a very, very high diploma rate. And then you'll see other years listed there as well. I won't read them all out to you, but we have a lot to brag about. We're very, very proud of the accomplishments of our students. All right, now, Mr. Nakamura, as he's coming to the screen, let me just tell you that he teaches Algebra 2 Honors and AP Statistics. He is not only teacher extraordinaire, but he is also the parent of 2 children, very different children, who went through this program and completed. So Mr. Nakamura, we know you have a lot of wisdom to share with the students, but probably particularly with the parents.
Okay, first off, how much time do I have?
Okay, no, not all that much.
Not that much. Okay, so like Ms. Marsh said, I'm both a teacher and a parent here, which is a fairly unique perspective. I've taught here for a little over 15 years, and my students have, one's graduated a couple years ago, another's senior this year, and they are very different. You know, generally I used to go out and talk to the 8th grade students across the county to just give them a little bit of idea what Bartow IB is about, and generally the kids have always asked questions about how much is the homework load, will I have enough time to have a social life, whatever that means at 14 years old, because I don't remember those days, and also can I play sports? Those are generally the biggest questions. And so I say, yeah, you know, the homework load, yeah, it's going to be more here than what it is at a typical high school, and that's the nature of the beast. And I'll say the biggest attribute about this place for you guys as students, as learners, for parents of these people, you know, the kids that come here are bright. And by the way, congratulations just for even being in this meeting, because that means that you've accomplished quite a bit already just in these 8 years of your formal education. But you know, once you make the choice to come here, things are different. And what makes this different is not just the curriculum, it's not just the teachers. I honestly believe the biggest difference is the students. And so you've heard from a few of ours already, and you know, I teach every kid that comes through here at some point or another. And so I've taught all of these guys, and they're exceptional. And it's not just because of their intelligence, and it's not just because of their work ethic, and it's not just about any one thing. What makes it special is that the fact that they all came here together. And if these students would have gone to any other high school in the county, out of the county, private, public, whatever, you know what, they'd be just as intelligent as they are now. They'd be, but the difference is they were with each other. And as Ms. Marsh said, we have the majority of the kids in the county that are national merit semifinalists are here, and it's that way every year. And that's quite an accomplishment for these kids. But, and you know, I hate saying it this way, but I don't know if they would have accomplished that at a different school, because kids at George Jenkins and at Lakeland and Bartow and at Winter Haven and Lake Gibson and Kathleen, there are kids at every other school in this county that are equally bright, equally intelligent, equally gifted as the students that we have, if not more so. The difference is when these kids came together and they created a community of learning, they push each other. And they're not even aware of if they push each other. Their normal is so much different than what normal is, because I've taught at other schools as well. And the way they do that is just so phenomenal. Yes, we have high expectations, but they have expectations of each other. And that's kind of what makes this special, is because when they get together, we like to say iron sharpens iron. But it's not even just that, as much as they have this sense of normal that makes them want to achieve, makes them want to do more. I mean, I look at Gus, who just left the screen. You know, he's one of my son's friends, and they hang out. So yeah, there is time for a social life. It's a different kind of life. You're not going to go to a movie on a Wednesday night. Of course, nobody goes to movies right now anyway. But you're going to get those types of things, whereas instead maybe you go and hang out at Starbucks and study, or that kind of thing. That's the kind of life that an IB junior or senior leads. But if you think back, if you're a parent that's gone to college, that's kind of the life we led in college. And this is a high school is very different than what we did in high school. It's very different than what I did in high school, at least. But that community of being together and pushing each other and holding each other accountable and just doing accelerated things just because that's what we do, is kind of special. And when they're here, the level of preparation is just different, because like I said, they'd be equally bright anywhere else. But when they get together, that's just, it's like, yeah, it's just not like what you see at other places. And so they do have their own kind of social life. It's different, for sure, but it is what they have. Sports, you heard Afama talk about it. Gus plays tennis. David, I know you swim. Sammy, I can't remember if you play a sport, but you know, but okay, performance. but you know, the sports, our kids play sports. I mean, most every team at Bartow High School has somebody from IB on it. And so, yeah, they do that as well. Homework, yeah, we do give it. Yes, you do have to do it. But it is, but that's what kind of builds the community. You worry about leaving your friends from 8th grade, the kids that you spent like your elementary school with, your middle school years with. But then when you come here, you know, so maybe some of your friends come here, maybe you come here on your own. When my son came here, he didn't know anybody that came in here with him. And yet he's formed probably the best group of friends that I could hope for him. And that's you guys get close, and maybe it's because misery loves company, or maybe it's just the fact that you have a shared experience. And it's not easy. It's not. If it were easy, everybody would do it. But if you want to challenge yourself and you want to see what you're capable of doing, this is where you go. You know, it's like if you ever get a chance to compete on an all-star team of any kind, or if you got a chance to if you're a dancer, to dance with the best group, or if you're a singer, to sing with the best singers, to play a sport, to be a part of that team that goes someplace and does something, that's what we're talking about here. Except it's now at an academic level as well. And the kids achieve and the kids succeed, and they go places that really everybody wants to go, but maybe wouldn't have gotten the opportunity. You know, the colleges that our kids apply to, the lists are staggering. And if that's what you want, then this is the place for you to try. And the good and the bad of it is the good is it's 4 years together, and 4 years that you get to, that you grow in community. And, you know, you may know more about these people that surround you than what you really want to know, but that's what kind of a family does. And these friends usually stay together. They keep in contact once they leave here because they are prepared. When they go on to college, they look around at the other kids, and they're just so much more prepared than the other students are at college, because those kids are freaking out about having to write an 8-page paper. Our kids are like, well, we can turn that out in an evening, even though we weren't supposed to. But this is who they are. The challenges are different. The challenges are harder. The challenges are more. The challenges are more rewarding. And due to that, our kids accomplish some really great things. When I get to write letters of recommendation and I look at their resumes, I'm just staggered by what they've accomplished and thinking, my gosh, if that could have been me in high school, maybe I could have amounted to something. But, but instead, I get to help somebody else grow and reach. And that is just such an awesome thing. And the teachers here, we love your kids. And we get to know them closer. We don't have to put up with some of the nonsense that we see in other places, and we get to actually share and laugh in a classroom and have a good time. But at the same point, yeah, it's tough, but I think that if this is what you want, if those are your goals, if that's what you want to achieve, this is the good part. You know, the bad part in a sense is you only get one shot at this. You know, and so if you guys are 8th graders right now, you know, I don't know how much we've presented this, but this is your choices as a 9th grader. You come in as a freshman, and so if you're interested, you got to go for it. I mean, that's what it comes down to. You have to say, I'm going to try this, because if you let this opportunity pass you by, it won't come around again. And we often regret, we regret more the things that we didn't do than the things that we, you know, tried and didn't work out. But this is, like I said, it's not for everyone, and I'm not going to claim that it is. But if you think it's for you, and if you've heard our students, you've listened to some of them, you listen to Afama, to Gus, to David, to Sammy, and if you look at them and say, well, you know, that's somebody who I could be like, well, why don't you find out? Because I can speak as the instructor for all of these guys at one point. They're excellent. They are. And I'm proud to have taught them, and, you know, still teaching them still or in the future. So, you know, if you have questions, I'm sure that Ms. Marsh or Ms. Craven would be happy to answer them, or, you know, they can talk through email. We'll be more than happy to answer whatever questions you have for us. But if I don't get off here in a moment, they're probably going to pull me off. So, like I said, it's not easy. It's not for everyone, but you've accomplished quite a bit already. And you've heard what this place is like. You've heard from our students, and we'd love to see you come well, August. So I'll turn it back over to Ms. Craven and let her finish up.
Thanks, Mr. Nakamura. While Ms. Craven is getting seated, I'll let you know that Ms. Craven will be sharing with you about how to ask questions. Since we're in this new Zoom format, we'll be doing things a little bit differently than we have in the past, but she'll let you know about that.
So thank you, students. Like I said, you definitely are our superstars, so I appreciate you taking time this evening to share. Mr. Nakamura, thank you. I will echo what Mr. Nakamura shared. My oldest daughter also is a graduate of IB Bartow, and I can tell you that, you know, again, I've seen this program from a parent's perspective, and it pushed my daughter like never before. There were a few late nights. There were some nights that there might have been a few tears, but she graduated from this program and she has thrived in college. And I know that she's going to just be able to thrive in life in general, because she has learned some very valuable life skills like time management, organization, perseverance. So with that, I do want to share with you how you would apply to be able to join this dynamic learning community. So here on the screen, you can see some of the requirements. Students who apply to the International Baccalaureate program at Bartow High School do have to have a 3.5 grade point average through 7th grade. Students also have to have taken Algebra 1 and successfully completed that course, and also successfully met the Algebra 1 end of course exam state assessment. This year is going to be a little bit different because of the COVID school closures in the spring. Students will have the opportunity to take the Algebra 1 EOC, but also if they are currently in geometry, they can take the geometry end of course exam, and if they pass the geometry end of course exam, the state is allowing for this 1 year that geometry end of course exam to count as the Algebra 1 EOC assessment requirement for graduation. So again, you do have to take and pass algebra prior to entering our program, and also have met that assessment requirement for the standard high school diploma. The open enrollment application process actually will open next Tuesday, November the 10th, and the application window will be open through January 12th. And that is the time when students will be able to apply to whichever magnet or school choice program they're interested in, Career Academies. We hope that based on the information that has been shared tonight, that you will consider applying to be a part of our learning community. So again, that open enrollment application window will open on November the 10th and will remain open until January the 12th. Once you submit your application to if it's the IB program, then you will have to also register to take the SAT-10 assessment. All students that are applying to the IB and ACE programs this year in Polk County will have to have a qualifying score on the SAT-10. So again, that is part of the application process. It's my understanding that will be handled through Parent Portal. So when you submit the application for the IB program, you would then be able to schedule and choose a test date and location to be able to take the SAT-10 assessment. And then the last requirement for students that are in the IB Bartow program is that they live in the west side of the county. So in the letters that we sent out, we listed the different high schools that are in the IB Bartow zone, but those are high schools that are on the west side of the county. So it would include Kathleen High School, Lakeland High School, George Jenkins, Mulberry, Bartow High School, Fort Meade, Frostproof, and the zone which would typically have gone to Lake Wells High School is included in that west area IB Bartow zone. And because of COVID this year and just the having to meet virtually with our prospective students and parents, we did want to provide, again, this is a new opportunity that we're providing our families that are interested in our program, and that's the opportunity to come and tour IB Bartow. We're going to be hosting 4 different afternoons where families can register to attend a tour. Those dates are on November 10th from 3 to 6 p.m., November 17th from 3 to 6 p.m., December 1st and December 8th, all again 3 to 6 p.m. We are hosting those tours in the afternoon immediately after school from 3 to 6 p.m. because they are going to be led by our IB Bartow ambassadors, because again, you know, I firmly believe that our students are our best asset, and we want them to be able to showcase our school and just share with our prospective students and parents their experiences and have that opportunity to answer questions. So that is the reason that we have scheduled those tours from 3 to 6 p.m. because they could be here to lead those tours and then still get home to make sure that they're staying on top of their studies and all their homework. So if you're interested in participating in one of the tours here of our campus, again, to see the new science and technology building that we have here on campus, the new construction for the instructional classroom space that we will actually be able to occupy August of 2021, and several of the different career academies that we talked about. The tour would be the perfect opportunity for you to be able to do that. So to be able to register for a tour, you would need to visit the IB Bartow website, and I have the address here, bhsib.polk-fl.net. So you can Google that site, the IB Bartow site, and on the home page you will be able to find a link to the IB tours. You'll click that link to then be able to choose the date and the time that you would like to reserve an opportunity for your child and one parent to be able to come and experience that tour here on our campus. We are limiting the tours to the prospective student and one parent due to the safety protocols that we are still following in response to the COVID virus. So, you know, again, we are going to have very small groups that are going to be touring the campus with no more than 10 in a group. So that would allow for 5 prospective students and one parent. Everyone that will be on campus for the tours will go through a temperature check. Everyone will be required to wear a mask, and we are asking that the student and parent groupings in those tours to practice social distancing as you're actually touring the campus and getting to see the different classrooms and labs and things like that that we have on campus. So if that tour opportunity is something that you would be interested in, please visit our website. Again, on the homepage of the IB Bartow website, you'll be able to click on the link to register for a tour and reserve your spot. And finally, again, this is a very different format as far as a prospective student meeting. It's the first time we've ever had to do a prospective student meeting virtually. So it is a little bit more of a challenge to be able to ask questions. One thing that we tried to do this year was include an FAQ document in the letters that we mailed home. And on that FAQ document, it was several different questions that have been asked over the different years. So we've tried to provide as much of those questions and answers up front. But if there's still a lingering question that you have not gotten answered this evening during this presentation, then again, if you will visit the IB Bartow website, and there's a link titled Questions to IB Bartow. You can submit your questions that you have through that link, that Google form, and we will work to collect those questions, answer them, and create another FAQ document that we will have posted on our website, again on the homepage, by November 10th. You'll have to come back and revisit the site, the website, our website, to be able to access the FAQ document. But again, if there's questions that you have, you can go directly to that Google form, submit your questions, and then we will get them answered and posted by November 10th. Wow, so we have shared a lot of information with you this evening. I want to thank you again for joining us. And, you know, I have a question for you students as far as our prospective students, and that's, what do you want out of your high school experience? You know, there's a lot of different programs available to students now, you know, for students that are really interested in music, there's an experience for them. You know, there's just so much variety available to our families and our students now. But one thing that I would really ask you to consider again is, what do you want your high school experience to be? And if it's an experience where, again, you're going to be challenged and pushed to grow in all different content areas so that you are best prepared for college and beyond in a small and very dynamic learning community, then I would invite you to apply for IB Bartow. And just really looking forward to being able to meet you all, and hopefully again answer any questions that you might have during those tours. Again, the application window will open next Tuesday, November the 10th, and be open through January the 12th. And, you know, again, just inviting you to come be a part of IB Bartow. And I thank you for your time this evening, and that will do it. Good night.